How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about school shootings in general. But of course, the backdrop to this video and the reason why I'm making it is the most recent school shooting that happened in Santa Fe High School in Santa Fe, Texas, which is to the south of Houston and to the north of Galveston. It's right in between the two, but closer to Galveston. Very unfortunate situation. I want to say rest in peace to all those who passed away, to all 10 people who died, and get well soon to the 10 others who were injured, and prayers out to everyone that was affected, parents, teachers, friends, students, staff, everybody. Prayers out to you. Hopefully you'll be able to move past this and live a happy and fruitful life. But to get to the core of this video, we got to talk about this kid who went out and shot these people. Now, this guy by the name of Dimitrios, I cannot pronounce his last name, but I will put information about him in the box below if you want to know more about him. This guy had been descending into despair for quite a while. People had known it, they had seen it. There were signs on social media that he was going down this path, and that seems to be the pattern that happens in all these school shootings. It's a kid, he gets bullied by people, maybe even some of the staff he gets bullied by. He sinks into despair, and then he becomes vengeful. Now he becomes a dangerous person. He becomes a tool of destruction. So that is a pattern I see. What I don't see is a pattern of guns being to blame. Yes, these people do use guns, but can you blame specific types of guns? Semi-automatic, fully automatic? Can you really do that? Many of the school shootings that have happened and or mass shootings feature the AR-15. This happens to be the gun of choice of many people. And then you have a lot of individuals in the media, regular citizens, who equate the AR-15 with the killing machine. Like, this is the main gun that is always used in mass shooting situations. It's the way that most people die. Although the reality is less than 2% of people that get shot and killed in the USA die as a result of any type of rifle, including the AR-15 and others. It is not a common way that people get killed. You usually have a handgun that is involved, but the conversation seems to be around trying to ban the AR-15. To me, it doesn't make any sense, but then again, it does make sense when the media is harping on the same gun over and over again and not looking at the deeper causes of why these mass shootings happen, school shootings or whatever. Of course, people are just going to equate this gun that keeps getting mentioned in the same breath as school shootings, as mass shootings, as a tool of destruction, not looking at the bigger picture. But I digress. In this particular case, the student, 17-year-old, used a pump action shotgun, a Remington 670, and also a .38 revolver, a handgun. Neither one of which are automatic, of course, or semi-automatic. These are not guns that would be the equivalent of, not even like a handgun with a magazine. It's just not that. So that argument goes out of the window. Then some would say, well, you need to have common sense, gun laws, gun control. Well, he was 17 years old, so he was not able to buy these guns legally. He took them from his father. Now, some would say, of course, obviously, it was easy for him to get the guns from his father, but a determined person will go through some things to get their guns. People on the street, when they get shot and killed, many times they're being shot and killed by stolen guns, by guns that are taken from somebody's house or taken from a person through strong arm. That's usually how that goes. It's not like you have a guy who's on the street, a gangbanger, 16 years old, going into a gun shop buying guns for himself. He usually steals them, and he wouldn't even buy it secondhand off of a person that's like a licensed dealer, because that'd be too expensive. He wants to get the gun for a very cheap price. These guys that are out here on the street do not make that much money, but I'm getting a little bit off track. You understand what I mean? The gun being the problem cannot be the focus. It doesn't make any sense, especially since the shooter in Texas had 2 guns plus Molotov cocktails and a CO2 device. Basically, he made bombs. Okay. So as far as I know, making bombs is not legal, but yet he was still able to have them. And the materials you can put into a bomb many times are not something that would even be illegal. Molotov cocktail, I mean, what's in that? A bottle of alcohol and a rag, is that illegal? Obviously, he had ways to get things that were illegal and was going to go out here and do what he wanted to do regardless. So the illegality of his arms is not in question because everything he had, he should not have had under the law. We have to get to the core reason why many of these school shootings happen. And that is, like I said, first of all, you have a person who descends into despair. People know it. Classmates know it. Teachers, parents, everybody knows it. But there's nothing done. It always seems to be a guy that is kind of on the edge of society. The police know about him. The FBI knows about him, but nothing is done. Now, the question is, what can you really do? How can you stop somebody from possibly committing a crime in the future because of how they're behaving right now? You see, they're kind of on the edge. Maybe they appear like they may be a school shooter, but how do you actually stop that from happening? Well, first of all, you got to have more security at the actual school. Many of these high schools, middle schools, elementary schools even have no security. Or if they have it, it's lackadaisical at best. You may have one unarmed guard walking around. Meanwhile, the doors of the school can just be opened by anybody. You may even have like an open campus plan, especially at colleges. I mean, you could just walk straight onto the campus and start shooting, do whatever you want to do. There's got to be tougher security at the school. I'm talking about maybe steel reinforced doors, multiple armed guards, armed teachers. Not every teacher should be armed, of course, but some may want to be. Some may think that it's their right, as it is, to arm themselves to protect not only themselves, but those that are around them. So those who feel comfortable enough to have arms on them, and you kind of vet them a little bit because you don't want to put, bad teachers in the hands of gun. Like, you want to make sure that the teachers are going to be competent with their firearms. As long as they have that, then allow them to be armed. So then they'll be able to protect themselves and their students, and that'll be an added deterrence, along with having other armed police officers in the school, reinforced doors. Don't allow your school to be open to whoever wants to come there. That's got to be a major part of your solution. Tougher school security. All the marches, all the protests, that's fine. If you want to go out there and march and have a never again celebration or whatever you want to call it, I understand. That's okay. But I don't think that's going to really be effective in stopping mass shootings. And then you got to look past schools. You got to look into neighborhoods. Why do you have all the violence there? Why do you have all the crime there? You need to get down to the source of what's happening. Restore the family structure. Because a lot of these kids, they're just lost, especially the boys. I've said this before. A lot of times they grow up with strained relationships with their parents, especially their fathers. If their fathers are not there, they don't really understand how to conduct themselves, how to channel their frustration, their anger, their adrenaline, and they're going to display it in a very unhealthy way. In the case of the shooter in Texas, luckily he was captured alive. Now, I'm not saying that he deserves to be alive. Obviously, he doesn't. But the fact that he is will actually benefit people because we'll be able to hear from him why he did what he did. Allegedly, he said that he avoided students who he liked. So there's something there. Why did he not like other students? Why did he kill them? What's going on? From this, maybe you'll be able to identify somebody who's going down that road. Like I said before, he was already kind of in a dark place, but it's kind of hard to tell who's going to be a school shooter and who isn't. But if you're able to identify certain characteristics, at that point, you could kind of pull a flag on somebody and pump the brakes on certain things they're doing, maybe monitor them, surveil them. I understand people don't want to live in like a police state or what have you. They want to be free. They don't want to be behind bars. But at the same time, it's 2018. There may have been a certain time in your life where you lived in a neighborhood that was safe, it was peaceful, and then it changed. You used to be able to go outside 2:00 in the morning, walk down the street, not lock your door, not have any kind of weapon on you, and just enjoy your life. But years later, the neighborhood changes and you can't do that anymore. If you go outside your house at a certain time of night, you may be a victim. If you keep your door unlocked, you may come back after a 30-minute stroll and see your house totally cleaned out. That's just what's going on. So how are you going to respond to what's happening right now? Are we always going to cry about how it used to be and how it used to be safe and there was never any problems? Or are we going to take proactive measures to prevent a thing like this from happening again? I think we should most certainly look at the latter. So to sum it on up, first, the gun control argument does not make sense. This person, 17 years old, was not able to buy guns. He took the guns from his father. Even though that may be kind of easy to do that, he still may have gone through other means to get the guns that do not involve buying them. He may have stolen them from a person on the street, from a person's home while they were away. There's different ways to come across your firearms other than taking them from your own home if they do not belong to you. Very simple. So the gun control argument has to be out. The mental health thing, I think that should be the bigger issue. You're seeing somebody slide into despair. You should be able to step in and intervene in some type of way. And of course, you got to have secure schools. Without secure schools, what do you really have? You allow any Tom, Dick, and Harry to come on there and do various things. Not only the school shootings, but also abduction, assault. There's a lot of different things that can happen on a school campus that you do not want to happen, which could be prevented with having the appropriate amount of security. So that's pretty much all I got to say about it. Hopefully we do not have too many more of these that occur in America. Although it's difficult to prevent, you can do things that would reduce your chances of being the victim, therefore reduce your chances of having this be a constant thing that is plaguing our country. So what do you think? Do you think that there could be more done to prevent school shootings? What could be done aside from what we're doing right now? We already have gun laws, so that can't be it. Maybe it's a bigger focus on mental health, maybe having more security at the school, maybe having better family homes, family lives. So when a kid goes to school, when they come back, they're able to get a constructive building experience at their homes. Many kids go home, they get ignored. The parents don't care about them. Nobody cares about them. They're pretty much on their own raising themselves. That can't be the way of the future if you really want positive change. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.